Going to a football match in the middle of pandemic feels like an undergoing insurance test in a related TV show. A pre-match message instructs me to arrive at Hampden Park in Glasgow. 3 hours before Scotland kick off against Sheffield. I must wear a mask at all times. I must take in all food from my micropack in the plastic bag provided by the stadium, and all the catering outlet will be shut. So no fancy burgers or cartons of black Pepsi to keep me going. When I immediately turn up to the stadium 3 hours early, the crowds are predictably sparked. The pub outside the ground overflow with supporters wrapped in scarlet flag looked like a tempting alternative. But when I suggest to a steward that I might go get a drink ahead of the game, a look of concern crosses her kindly face. Be careful which pub you're going to, she said. They will see you coming. What is she referring to? Could it be the Dutch book bag A4 side that I'm clutching? I have given my spare ticket to a rear scout, my friend Alistair, but he's from Edinburgh, so also not 100% at home in Glasgow. We decided to take the advice and skip the pub. Inside the stadium, we encountered a fan in the loudest tartan suit I ever seen, including a tiny tartan clothes bag. I posed for a photo with him and then he tells me I had it tailor-made, son. It fits me like a glove. It is not just COVID regulation that make this unique and peculiar European tournament. Euro 2020, as UEFA still insists on calling it, has also become sucked into the culture wars. National football team are symbol of the nation, but that is not a straightforward task at a time when national identity is so fiercely contested. The pressing issue for Scotland it is independent, for England it is race. English football team has decided to take the knee before matches as a protest against racism. But each time they do it, they are booed by a significant section of their own supporters. Even the government seems uncertain about how to respond. After hesitating for a while, Boris Johnson Prime Minister condemned the booing and urged fans to get behind the team. But two members of his cabinet, Equally Smoke and Priti Patel, defended the protesters, not expressing racism but condemning the Marxist of Black Lives Matter movement. Patel, Britain's Home Secretary, accused the player of indulging in gesturing politics. Players from the England team, whose pre-game press conferences are normally confined to discussing tactics, injuries, and the atmosphere inside the camp, now being asked to be a Home Secretary. It would be natural to assume the cabinet minister are better at politics than footballers, but the Johnson government has reason to be wary of the clashing with the England team. Last year, it went down to an ignominious defeat when it took on Marcus Rashford over the extension of free school meals for poor families. Manchester United and England forward mobilized a million signatures behind the petition and forced the Johnson government to change tack. The 23-year-old Rashford preparation for Euro 2020 had defended fan who visiting team detected saying that Euro 20 mobile sport mobilized a million signature behind the petition and forced the behind it, including a Zoom call with Obama. While plenty of tourists are prepared to grumble about the work in Rashford, none are willing to take him in public. The cultural wars of football are not just happening in Britain. The multiracial Belgian team took the knee in Russia ahead of their opening game. They were also booed by the crowd. Russians were also protesting against Marxism. Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, one of the host nations for 2020, defended fan who visiting team that take the knee, saying that Hungarians see the gesture as a provocation. Orban is himself a right-wing provocateur who has become a hero to the Trumpist right in America by issuing frequent warning about the elderly dangerous Europe being flooded by Muslims. Non-Muslim. The culture wars of football are not just happening in Britain. The multiracial Belgian team took the knee in Russia ahead of their opening game in the tournament. But even some moderate conservatives are uncomfortable about football taking the knee. One prominent Tory thinker brought alarm to me that football used to be in a political space, but now the national team has become a source of division. I can see what it means. This year's tournament inevitably brings back memories of Euro 96. Euro 96, when England forward mobilized a million signatures behind the petition and forced the Johnson government to change tack. The 23-year-old Rashford for preparation for Euro 2020 defended fan who visiting team that saying the Hungarian see that as a provocation. Orban is a right-wing provocateur who has become a hero to know. Now the team has become a source of division. I can see what it means this year's tournament inevitably brings back memories of Euro 96. When England was mobilized, when England also played their games at Wembley and the whole country they seemed to get behind the team in an uncomplicated sort of way. Back then, packed the stadium, all joined in the singing of the Lions football's coming home. Now the stadiums are largely empty and some of the home crowds actually bring the players. But as somebody who has been to many England games over the years, I know that the idea. I know that the idea that team was never mixed up with politics or race is an illusion. England games have always attracted a substantial number of sorry hooligans and far-right supporters, whose pre-game press conferences are normally confined to discussing tactics, injuries, and the atmosphere inside the camp, now being added to real home security. Which not that now the stadium are largely empty and some of the home crowds are actually going to police. As somebody who has been to many England games over the years, I know that the I know that the idea that team was never mixed up with politics or race is an illusion. England games have always attracted a substantial number of sorry hooligans and far-right supporters whose trademark chant is "No surrender to our aid." At the last European Football Championship in France in 2016, the ugly tradition of England football hooliganism re-emerged. When I remarked to another fan that I didn't particularly enjoy being caught up in a near riot outside a bar in Marseille, I was told curtly, "If you don't like it, you should stay at home and watch the game on television." Football ground in the 1970s were also where I saw the most over racism that I ever witnessed. It was routine to see black players bark Bibles and monkey noises. The football authorities and commentators were silent about this for many years. So if the current national side feel they want to make a statement about racism, it is hard to accuse them of bringing politics into a political space. The politics, particularly the racial politics, have always been there. The identity issues are rather different for Scotland. Euro 2020 comes as the Scottish government is ramping up demand for second independence referendum. This is the first major international tournament the team has qualified for since 1998, neatly fitting the narrative of national revival. Arriving in Scotland for the first game of the tournament, I find the local paper full of optimism. In recognition of the enormity of the occasion, the Scottish government has even allowed schools that lesson to allow the kids to watch the game against Czechs live with a visiting English band. I wonder how I feel about all this. I grew up supporting I grew up supporting Scotland in big international tournaments. I had little options since England failed to qualify for the World Cup in 1974 and 1978. But British identity was less complicated back then. The anthem played for the Scotland side that lined up play Brazil in 1974 was God Save the Queen, although two recordings did not show the Scottish player looking particularly delighted. Today the crowd and team will be belting out Flower Scotland loud enough Flower Scotland with the stern word that we can still rise and be the nation again. When Scotland qualified for the World Cup in 1973, there were more than 90,000 people in Southampton. But today, thanks to COVID, it's a little over 9,000. Far from the joyous return to the big time that has made it retired, it was pretty like hardly of understand, even if the cartel has been reduced to little more than a couple of battalions. Little more than a couple of battalions. They built up Flower Scotland loud enough to drown the conversation. The team started the game with all the expected questions to board. The captain gave a suggestion to his players to calm down. Then the tech scored and the air sucked out of the stadium. At halftime, we tried to spend in the toilet next to the hand dryer, the warmest spot in Hampden. There is hopeful chatter around the urinal that Scotland might be able to turn this round. But early in the second half, football history is made by the text. The team centre forward gets the ball on the halfway line and floats the ball over the Scottish goalkeeper into net. It is one of the most brilliant goals any of us will ever witness. The crowd is now almost totally silent apart from a tiny group of cheering Czechs on the other side of the stadium and a group of children near me who continue happily shouting for Scotland. 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 While the other overwhelmed but frozen in horror. After the match, Alastair reminds me that Scottish fans are used to bitter disappointment, making the national football team a symbol of the nation, a double-edged sword. We imagine them scoring wonderful goals and celebrating the fan. But what if your goalkeeper floundering flat on his back and tangled them in the net? Euro 2020 has already delivered humbling setbacks for two football-mad populist leaders. Orban gave permission for a capacity crowd to attend Hungary's opening games in Budapest against Portugal, only to see the national side lose 3-0. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, president of Turkey, traveled to Azerbaijan and sat in a place of honor next to Azer president, from where he was able to see Turkey go down to a 2-0 defeat against Wales. England fans also have a habit disappointing their most ardent fans. The side often portrays as the embodiment of what we like to believe are national characteristics: courage, calmness, under pressure. In fact, as a recent piece by Joanna Lee in The Guardian pointed out, England are uniquely bad at holding a lead in a tournament. The numbers seem to suggest they might even be battlers. And they all here see the French and Italians are much better at holding their nerve when they take leads. If Gareth Southgate, the England manager, can somehow break this cycle and turn England into a winning outfit, it would inadvertently provide a huge boost to the Johnson government that is desperate for a symbol of the success of Brexit Britain. But Southgate has subsequently but unmistakably positioned himself to the left of the government, taking the knee. He leads a multiracial team and has reluctantly defended their right to make statements on subjects other than football. It has become accepted wisdom in Britain that culture wars always work better for the right than the left, but football may be an exception. All polls taken across Europe before 2020 showed that 54% of England football fans supported taking the knee, with 39% opposed. If the England team keep winning, the number in favor may rise along with the team's popularity. For once, the right may find itself on the wrong end of culture war. For the duration of Euro 2020, I will care much less about who wins the culture war than who wins the tournament. For Scotland, Euro 2020 began with a deflating defeat. The England team disappointed their fans almost as reliably as the Scots, so slightly later in the day. On the other hand, this is a real tournament. It's taking place in the middle of pandemic, the stadiums are quarter full, and England are playing half decently. I am allowing myself to for the weirdest outcome of the lot, an England victory.